So here I am with one of my very best new mates, my blues brother.
Yeah, how about that? My only posh shirt I had for the trip. So
We didn't consult on this.
This was it,
It's
mate.
worked
Yeah.
out well. But many of you already know this beautiful face. Gus Worland, famous on Triple M radio in Sydney, international cricket commentator. But what I love most about him is his passion for mental health and mental fitness. Gotcha4Life founder. And that's what I'd really like to explore, Gus. Just what you've done over the last decade or so, finding your passion, you know, your purpose in life and helping others, not just sort of looking after your own backyard.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. I mean, for me, my wife and I, we sat down 8 years ago and we started Gotcha4Life, but it really started a little bit earlier than that for me. I was on breakfast radio, as you said. I was on with a couple of ex-rugby league blokes, a very sort of blokey show, Triple M.
No neck.
No neck. And I just said one morning, I want to get a bit vulnerable and talk about a topic that you wouldn't normally talk about. Yep. And I was driving into work, 4:30 in the morning, going, will I have the guts to stick my hand up and ask for this 3 or 4 minutes, which is really every segment on FM breakfast radio, will they give me 3 or 4 minutes? If I ask for it, will they give me, or will they take the mickey out of me, or whatever it might be? Anyway, I was silly to overthink it like we tend to. And I just said to them, I'd love to do it. And they said, we'll back you. So I spoke about my friend who took his own life. He was a mentor of mine. I loved him dearly, and he seemed to have everything. And he took his own life on the day that his third and final child finished their year 12 in Australia. And it completely knocked us all for 6. And I did nothing about it except have a few too many drinks on the anniversaries for many years. And then I decided to talk that morning. So what happened then was the next 90 minutes, one phone call after another, just coming into Triple M going, thanks, Gus, for your story, but more importantly, can I tell you my story? It's like we gave them permission to talk about the stuff that normally we bottle up. That man up, shut up type stuff that we certainly grew up with, and you would have had with your AFL career and so forth. I mean, it's a nonsense, you know, and it's killing Aussies, and it's killing people around the world not being able to express how you feel truly with at least someone. So find someone who's got you for life. You can have that warts and all conversation with without any fear of judgment. And that's really what I spoke about that morning, and I realised how many people are worrying alone. And worrying alone is terrible for us. We need our village, we need our people around us. So I was able to do a show on the ABC in Australia called Man Up, and that challenged masculinity and why we lose so many blokes. And then Gotcha4Life was started, and I'm happy to say we've raised 19 million bucks so far, nothing from the government. It's just purely mums and dads, 10s and 20s, a couple of great corporate partners, which help us, and we're building mental fitness in Australia, and that's, I think, is the positive way to look at it. Mental health's got a bad rap. If you talk about mental health, it goes straight to a negative. So let's talk about mental fitness, and let's give people the exercises to build the emotional muscles, those really important muscles up in your head, which control so much of what we do.
Beautiful. You've mentioned the word village and exercise. We're in Sukhavati, Bali at the moment.
Aren't we?
Always
How
think of
good.
the village. Yeah. But you go outside and everything's about family and connection, which we don't do very well in our countries. But you mentioned the word exercise too. Could you give the listeners maybe one exercise? You did it with us the other night at the dining table.
Sure.
Around our village and how we sort of could maybe make sure we're connecting with those and telling the people we love that we love them and not let it go on by.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for me, exercises, at least initially, have to be something that are quite easy to do. Otherwise, you won't start. It becomes too difficult to even start. So, yeah, so what we did at the dinner table, and I do this in all of my talks, is that I get people to write down with a pen and paper the people that they love and adore and they cannot imagine living without. Now, normally, people have never written down that list before, and it's the most important list that you will ever write, and we never write it. So write down that list and then give yourself a minute and look at every name and go, I'm going to give myself a mark out of 10 for how I'm performing against those names. Now at that point, you have a list of the most important people in your life. You've then got a number out of 10 against them. If anyone's got a 7 out of 10 or below, that's your moment to go, right, I'm going to have to do something about that. Enough talk, action. So what do you do then? Send a simple text message. We all carry our phones, not so much in here, but most of the time in our world. So you get your phone out, you find someone with a 7 or below, and you send them a text message. Doesn't really matter what that text message says, but my one is, I love you, I miss you, see you soon, kiss, hug, kiss, hug. And just send it, and let's see what happens. See what the universe will give back. what happens from that moment is you've made a connection outside of banter, something a little bit different, and those people go, it's lovely to get a bit of connection. And if you're sending it to an Aussie, you'll probably get a bit of a laugh back, like, are you drunk? Was this message sent for me? And because we go straight to humour, right, if we're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and that's cool. But what it happens is we can then have the conversation when they say, what's this all about? You go, well, I was asked to write down a list of people I love and adore, and you're one of them. So I want you to know that. And then a conversation of gravity outside of banter can happen, because we've set up a rule then that we can be a little different to how we normally talk about ourselves or to ourselves. So I've been doing it now for absolutely 7 or 8 years, and I've never had anyone say anything other than it's been a positive in terms of building a slightly different relationship with the people that they love.
Yep. Beautiful, mate. I love your work. I love you. Thank you for that. I think you can get a feel for what Gus has just shared about his passion, which he wanted to bring out just to do what really, really drives you. But please jump on TED. Search TED Gus for an amazing TED Talk that he did last April. He's been invited back. It's gone through the roof. Also check out Gotcha4Life. And above all, reach out to those that you love and send them a message and put your arm around them, and let's get the conversations going. And Australian of the Year nominee for mental fitness.
Can't believe I didn't win. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Thanks, buddy.
My pleasure,
Cheers.
mate.